If you're over 60, there is one sweet, juicy habit that could quietly raise your risk of a stroke overnight. No pain, no warning, and no symptoms while it's happening. You go to bed feeling fine, and by morning, your speech is slurred, your balance is gone, or one side of your body simply won't move. As a brain doctor, I've seen far too many seniors experience strokes they never saw coming. Not from smoking, not from fast food, not from lack of exercise, but from something they believed was helping them stay healthy. Fruit, yes, fruit. Every day, millions of older adults eat fruit believing it protects their heart, their brain, and their digestion. And while many fruits can support healthy aging, some, especially when eaten at the wrong time or in the wrong way, can quietly do harm. They spike blood sugar. They interfere with medications. They dehydrate the brain. And in some cases, they change how your blood clots. The scariest part? Almost no one warns you. Today, I'm going to walk you through 9 common fruits that may be raising your risk of stroke, memory loss, or even brain bleeding, especially if you're over 60. And more importantly, I'll show you how to eat fruit safely without putting your brain at risk, because healthy habits should protect you, not betray you. Before we begin, tell me in the comments, how old are you, and what fruit do you eat most often? Now let's start with the fruit that shocks most people. Fruit number 1, bananas. Too much potassium, too fast. Bananas are often called the perfect snack. Soft, easy to digest, high in potassium, labeled heart healthy. And for younger adults, that may be true. But after 60, your body handles minerals very differently. Here's what most seniors are never told. As we age, kidney function naturally slows, blood vessels stiffen, and many people are now taking medications for blood pressure, heart rhythm, or fluid retention. Medications like ACE inhibitors, diuretics, water pills, certain heart medications. All of these affect how your body handles potassium, and bananas are loaded with potassium. One large banana contains over 450 milligrams. When potassium builds up in the bloodstream faster than the kidneys can clear it, it can disrupt heart rhythm, tighten blood vessels, increase clot formation risk, and when that clot forms in the brain, the result is a stroke. Let me tell you about Raymond. Raymond was 66, a retired carpenter from Ohio, still active, still sharp, took pride in eating healthy. Every morning he sliced a banana onto his oatmeal and took his blood pressure medication with juice. Same routine, every day, for over a year. One morning his wife found him collapsed in the bathroom. He couldn't move his left side. His speech was slurred. At the hospital, tests showed elevated potassium levels interfering with heart rhythm. And a clot had formed during the night. The doctors traced it back to a combination of medication and repeated potassium overload. 2 bananas a day had quietly pushed his body into dangerous territory, and Raymond had no idea. Here's the key truth. You do not need large potassium doses anymore after 60, and you definitely don't need them late in the day. When potassium spikes at night, when circulation is slower and hydration is lower, blood becomes thicker and clots form more easily. That's why timing matters just as much as the food itself. So what should you do? If you're over 60, limit bananas to half per day. Eat them only in the morning. Always pair with protein or fat, like yogurt or nuts. Never eat them before bed. And always ask your doctor if potassium-rich foods interact with your medications, because what was once healthy may no longer be safe. Not without understanding how your body has changed. And if bananas surprised you, wait until you hear what tiny sweet grapes can do to your blood sugar and your brain vessels. Let's move to fruit number 2. Fruit number 2, grapes. Sugar bomb in a tiny package. Grapes feel harmless. They're small. They're juicy. They show up on every fruit tray and family table. But for seniors, grapes are one of the fastest ways to spike blood sugar without realizing it. Just one small bowl can contain the sugar of multiple candy bars, delivered quickly into your bloodstream, and after 60, your body clears sugar more slowly. Insulin response weakens, blood vessels become more fragile. When sugar spikes quickly, it doesn't just affect energy, It inflames artery walls, including the tiny vessels that feed your brain. Over time, that inflammation causes vessel narrowing, microscopic tears, and eventually clot formation. You won't feel it, you won't see it on a routine checkup, until one day, the clot blocks blood flow. Let me tell you about Jeanette. Jeanette was 80, a retired schoolteacher from Missouri. She avoided soda, avoided sweets, and believed fruit was the safest snack possible. Every afternoon she ate a large bowl of red grapes while watching the news. One day, while writing a birthday card, her vision blurred. Then she couldn't remember the word congratulations. At the hospital, doctors diagnosed a transient ischemic attack, a mini-stroke. Her labs showed repeated blood sugar spikes and vascular inflammation, not from cake, not from candy, but from repeated fruit sugar surges without protein to balance absorption. Grapes digest extremely fast, and when eaten alone, they flood the bloodstream. That creates the perfect conditions for thickened blood and vessel constriction, especially when hydration is low. So here's the safer approach. Never eat grapes alone. Limit to a small handful. Always pair with protein or fat. Eat only during active daytime hours. If diabetic or pre-diabetic, avoid entirely unless doctor approved, because when sugar spikes repeatedly, your brain's blood supply quietly suffers. And now let's talk about a fruit many seniors love after dinner. A fruit whose acid, sugar, and enzymes create dangerous nighttime conditions. Fruit number 3, pineapple. Acid, sugar, and enzyme. Overload at night. Pineapple feels like a clean dessert. Fresh, tropical, light. Many seniors eat it after dinner thinking it helps digestion and won't harm their weight. But for older adults, pineapple can quietly create the most dangerous conditions while you sleep. Here's why. Pineapple contains an enzyme called bromelain. In small amounts, bromelain can help break down protein, but in larger or repeated amounts, especially combined with medications, it can interfere with normal blood clotting. That means your blood can become too thin or unstable, especially overnight. Now add the sugar. 1 cup of pineapple delivers over 16 grams of fast-absorbing sugar. That sugar circulates while your body is resting, stressing blood vessels when circulation is already slower. But the most overlooked danger? Acid reflux. Pineapple is highly acidic. In seniors, acid reflux often happens without heartburn. Instead, tiny amounts of acid can reach the airway during sleep, lowering oxygen levels to the brain. Low oxygen plus unstable blood plus vessel inflammation. Prime conditions for early morning stroke. Let me tell you about Clara. Clara was 77, a retired choir director from North Carolina. Active, social, careful about her diet. Every night she ended dinner with fresh pineapple slices instead of cake or cookies. For over a year, that was her routine. One morning she woke up dizzy and confused. Her speech was off. She couldn't walk straight. Scans showed a small posterior circulation stroke, affecting balance and speech. Blood tests revealed glucose spikes, reflux irritation, and platelet instability. Not one cause, a combination triggered by her nightly pineapple habit. So here's the safe rule. If you eat pineapple at all, eat it earlier in the day, never before bed. Limit to small portions. Avoid if you're on blood thinners, unless doctor approved. Your brain needs stable conditions while you sleep, not chemical surprises. And now let's talk about a fruit that seems like pure hydration, yet can quietly thicken your blood and drop your blood pressure overnight. Fruit number 4, watermelon. Fruit number 4, watermelon. When hydrating, actually dehydrates. Watermelon feels like the safest food on earth. It's mostly water. Doctors recommend hydration, so how could this be dangerous? Here's what most people don't realize. Watermelon acts as a natural diuretic. It increases urine output. That means instead of hydrating you, it can actually cause fluid loss, especially when eaten in large portions or late in the day. For younger adults, that's not a problem. But for seniors, blood volume is already lower. Blood pressure medications may already reduce fluid. Circulation slows at night, When dehydration happens, blood becomes thicker. Thick blood moves slower and forms clots more easily. And when clots form in stiff, narrow arteries, that's when strokes happen. Let me tell you about Howard. Howard was 82, a retired postal worker from Indiana. He walked daily, ate healthy, avoided sweets. Every evening he ate several slices of watermelon to stay hydrated. What he didn't realize was that he was also on a diuretic for mild heart issues. Between the medication and the watermelon, his body was losing too much fluid overnight. One morning, he stood up and collapsed. At the hospital. Blood pressure dangerously low. Blood thickened from dehydration. Small ischemic stroke detected his watermelon habit had done the opposite of what he believed. So here's what seniors need to know. Eat watermelon only earlier in the day, never as a nighttime snack. Always drink electrolytes, not just water. If on diuretics, talk to your doctor first. Hydration isn't just about water, it's about keeping blood chemistry balanced. Now let's talk about a fruit almost every American grew up believing was the definition of health. Oranges. But inside that bright color hides a chemical problem most seniors have never heard of. Fruit number 5. Oranges, dangerous medication. Interactions. Oranges feel wholesome. Vitamin C, fresh juice, breakfast staple. But for older adults on medications, oranges can quietly interfere with how your body processes drugs. The problem is a compound called furanocoumarins. These chemicals block enzymes in your liver that break down many medications. That means your body may hold on to drugs too long, or clear them too fast, causing unstable drug levels. This affects blood pressure meds, cholesterol meds, statins, heart rhythm medications. When drug levels become unstable, blood pressure can swing suddenly, heart rhythm can fluctuate, and clot risk increases. Let me tell you about Elmer. Elmer was 79, a retired bus driver from Georgia. Every morning he drank fresh orange juice with his medications. He thought he was doing everything right. But over time, the orange juice blocked his liver from clearing those medications. Drug levels built up in his blood. One morning he stood up, became dizzy, and collapsed. At the ER, doctors found elevated medication levels, low blood pressure, small ischemic stroke. Not because he overdosed, because his fruit was interfering with how his body handled medicine. This is why grapefruit warnings exist. But many don't realize oranges can also interfere, especially when consumed daily. So the safer approach after 60. Don't drink large glasses of citrus juice. Avoid citrus with medications. Choose small portions only. Ask your doctor about food-drug interactions, because it's not just what's in your pill bottle that matters, it's what you wash it down with. And now let's move to fruit number 6, the symbol of American health, the apple. But for many seniors, apples are quietly triggering sugar swings that damage blood vessels. Fruit number 6, apples, the hidden blood sugar trap. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. Most seniors grew up believing that phrase. Hospitals serve apples. Senior centers serve apples. Families pack apples because they feel safe. But here's what almost no one tells you. Many modern apples are bred for sweetness, not nutrition. Varieties like Honeycrisp, Fuji, and Gala deliver fast sugar with less fiber than older types of apples. When that sugar hits an aging bloodstream, it creates a sharp spike, followed by a crash, and that swing does real damage to blood vessels. Every spike inflames the lining of your arteries. Every crash stresses blood pressure control. Over time, tiny micro tears form in vessel walls. Your body tries to repair those tears by forming clots. In younger people, this heals easily. In older arteries that are already stiff and narrow, those clots can block blood flow to the brain. Let me tell you about Louise. Louise was 81 from Pennsylvania. She walked daily, took her medications, avoided junk food. Every afternoon she ate one large Honeycrisp apple as her healthy snack. Over months, she noticed blurry vision and mild head pressure when standing. Then one evening, she suddenly couldn't speak clearly. At the hospital, scans showed a minor ischemic stroke. Blood work revealed unstable glucose patterns and vascular inflammation. not because of candy, not because of soda, because of repeated sugar spikes from what she believed was the healthiest snack possible. So here's the safer approach after 60. Choose Granny Smith apples, lower sugar. Always eat apples with protein or fat. Never eat sweet apples on an empty stomach. Avoid apple juice completely. Apples are not the enemy, but uncontrolled sugar swings are. And now we move to a fruit that surprises almost everyone. Cherries, small, sweet, and often recommended for inflammation. But for seniors on blood-thinning medications, cherries can quietly push the body into dangerous bleeding territory. Fruit number 7, cherries. When blood becomes too thin. Cherries are praised for arthritis, praised for heart health, praised for sleep, but cherries contain natural salicylates, compounds that work similarly to aspirin. That means they thin the blood. In healthy adults, that may reduce inflammation. But for seniors already taking aspirin, warfarin, Plavix, or other blood thinners, adding daily cherries can push blood from thin enough to too thin. When blood becomes too thin, small vessels can rupture. Internal bleeding risk rises. Risk of hemorrhagic stroke increases. Let me tell you about Daniel. Daniel was 84, from Illinois. He had a mild heart attack years earlier and was on daily aspirin. Every evening, he ate a bowl of cherries as dessert. He had read they were good for inflammation. After several weeks, he began having headaches and nausea. One morning, he woke up confused and vomiting. At the hospital, scans revealed a hemorrhagic stroke, bleeding inside the brain. Medication doses were correct, but his diet showed daily cherry intake on top of blood thinners. Together, they had pushed his clotting system past safety. This is what makes food interactions so dangerous. They don't cause pain. They don't give warning signs. They build silently. So here's the rule for cherries after 60. Small portions only, never daily if on blood thinners. Avoid cherry juice and concentrates. Always discuss with your doctor. Natural does not always mean harmless. And now we move to fruit number 8, a so-called superfood that may be carrying chemical dangers most people never consider. Strawberries. Fruit number 8, strawberries. Pesticides, inflammation, and brain risk. Strawberries look like health. Red, fresh, full of antioxidants. They appear in hospital meals and senior smoothies. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Strawberries consistently rank among the highest pesticide-contaminated fruits in the U.S., even after washing. And for older adults, detox systems slow down. That means those chemicals stay longer in the body, build up in tissues, can reach the brain. Many of these pesticides are neurotoxic. They increase oxidative stress in brain cells and weaken small blood vessels over time. That weakens vessel walls and increases clot risk. But that's not all. Strawberries also contain purines, which break down into uric acid. High uric acid increases joint inflammation, vascular inflammation, blood pressure instability. Let me tell you about Elaine. Elaine was 80, from Michigan. She ate strawberries daily, often frozen in smoothies. She had mild high blood pressure and occasional joint pain. Over time, she developed dizziness and swelling. One morning, she woke with numbness in her hand and slurred speech. Scans showed a small ischemic stroke. Labs showed elevated uric acid and inflammatory markers. Her daily strawberry habit, meant to be healthy, had quietly increased vascular stress for years. So what's the safer rule with strawberries? Only organic, not daily. Avoid pre-made smoothies. Be cautious if you have gout, kidney issues, or blood pressure problems. Superfoods are only super when your body can safely process them. And now we move to the final fruit, a tropical favorite that combines high sugar with medication interference. Mango. Fruit number 9. Mango sugar surges and medication interference. Mango feels like a reward. Soft, sweet, tropical. Many seniors choose it instead of cake or cookies, believing they're making a healthier choice. But mango may be one of the most dangerous fruits after 60 when it comes to stroke risk. Here's why. 1 cup of ripe mango contains more sugar than a donut. That sugar enters the bloodstream fast. For older adults with insulin resistance, diabetes, or unstable blood pressure, this causes rapid glucose spikes, insulin surges, blood vessel inflammation, and inflamed blood vessels are exactly where clots like to form. But sugar is only half the problem. Mango also contains natural compounds that interfere with how the liver processes medications. Specifically, it can slow down the enzyme systems responsible for breaking down blood pressure drugs, heart rhythm medications, cholesterol medications. When those medications are not cleared properly, they build up in the bloodstream. That can cause blood pressure to drop too low at night, heart rhythm to become unstable, blood circulation to slow, and thick blood in narrowed arteries is the perfect environment for a clot. Let me tell you about William. William was 83, a retired firefighter. He stayed active and avoided processed food. He started eating dried mango slices every afternoon as a healthy snack. At the same time, he was taking medications for atrial fibrillation and blood pressure. After several weeks, he began feeling dizzy in the mornings. Then one day, he collapsed getting out of bed. At the hospital, doctors confirmed a mild ischemic stroke. Blood tests showed elevated medication levels, not from overdose, but from slowed drug metabolism. The mango had quietly interfered with how his body cleared his medications. Sugar spikes plus drug buildup created the perfect storm. William survived, but he lost coordination and short-term memory. All from a snack he thought was doing him good. So here is the rule for mango after 60. Only very small portions. Never dried mango. Never before bed. Always paired with protein. Avoid if on heart or blood pressure medications unless doctor approves. At this stage of life, even natural sugar can act like medicine, and medicine must be dosed carefully. What you can eat safely. Brain protective fruits after 60. Now, after hearing about these 9 fruits, you may be wondering, should I stop eating fruit altogether? Absolutely not. Fruit can still support your brain and heart, if you choose the right ones and eat them the right way. Here are safer choices for seniors: berries, blueberries, raspberries, blackberries, low sugar, high antioxidants, protect blood vessels, support memory and circulation. They do not spike blood sugar and rarely interfere with medications. Green apples, like Granny Smith, lower sugar, higher protective polyphenols. Always eat with protein or fat to slow absorption. Avocados, technically a fruit, rich in healthy fats that support blood pressure, nerve function, stable energy. Potassium is absorbed slowly, not in sharp spikes like bananas. Lemon and lime used for flavor, not as snacks. Support digestion and hydration without sugar overload. Great added to water. Pomegranate, in small amounts, very powerful antioxidants, but juice should be diluted and limited, especially if on heart medications, small amounts only. One of the biggest mistakes seniors make is eating fruit on an empty stomach, late at night, without protein or fat. This causes sugar spikes, blood pressure swings, acid reflux during sleep, thickening of blood overnight. And most strokes happen in the early morning hours, when circulation is already low. So here are the golden rules after 60. Eat fruit earlier in the day. Always pair with protein or fat. Never eat fruit right before bed. Avoid fruit with medications unless approved. Your brain needs stability, not surprises. You were told your whole life that fruit is always healthy, but aging changes how your body responds to everything. Your kidneys slow. Your liver processes drugs differently. Your blood vessels stiffen. Your brain becomes more sensitive to small changes. That doesn't make you weak. It means your body deserves smarter support. Many of the stroke cases I see are not caused by junk food. They are caused by good people following outdated advice. Bananas with medication, grapes as snacks, pineapple after dinner, orange juice every morning. Small habits, repeated daily, quietly changing blood chemistry. Until one morning, everything changes. But the good news is this: most of these risks are easy to reduce. You don't need extreme diets. You don't need supplements. You don't need fear. You just need better information and better timing. Your goal now is not just to live longer, it's to stay sharp, stay steady, stay independent, and with the right food choices you absolutely can. Now I'd like to hear from you. Which of these fruits surprised you the most? And which habit do you plan to change starting today? Your comment may help someone else avoid a serious health scare. If you found this video helpful, please tap the like button and subscribe for more senior health guidance you can trust. And remember, your brain is listening to everything you feed it. Feed it the future you deserve.